Beef cakes. No, not that kind of beef cakes, girls. Behave yourselves. Right. I've got some bread which I've dried in a low oven for a while. I've just crumbed up 2 slices of bread, and I'm going to run that through my food processor now and turn it into breadcrumbs. I don't bother buying breadcrumbs, I just make them this way, it's easier. Additionally, you will need some potato. The best kind of potatoes to use are baking potatoes because they're really floury, yet they've got some nice binding texture to them. So what I do is I bake them and then just peel the skin off and then use them like that. They're perfectly good for this. You don't really want to use potatoes that you've already mashed up with milk and cream and butter and that sort of thing. You need just the potato as it is. And instead of fish, this time I'm using some bully beef or corned beef. Corned beef as you find in tins just like this all over the place. And what I've done is I've cut it into slices, and this crumbs up fairly easy, and it's very easy to mix in to make your cakes. For additional flavour I'm using some spring onion. Some of you may know these as green onions or scallions or chive. I've also got some parsley, which is about what, slack handful, golf ball size, which I'm going to chop up finely, and an egg for binding, and I'll need that along with my breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to get the breadcrumbs whizzed up and then I'll get back to you. So what we've got here, I've got about half of that 340 gram can of beef, which I've just broken up with my fingers. The noisy thing over here is my oil coming up to heat. It's about 170 grams of that, about half the can. I'm beating up my egg in there, and my breadcrumbs have turned out rather nice, rather like homemade panko breadcrumbs. And I've transferred my potato into the bowl. I've chopped up my 2 spring onions very finely, and I've chopped up my parsley fairly roughly. I kind of like I like the flecks of the green to come out in the cake once you've cut into it. It does look rather attractive. And onion always works well together with beef, so I'm using it more or less as an oniony herb rather than like an onion. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is get in there with my hands and mix up the potatoes. You can do this with a potato masher if you like. I like how that comes out there. And in goes my beef. Let's get it all in. Don't waste not, want not, boys and girls. Waste not, want not. And mix that in nicely like that. This is going to make about 3 or 4 nice beef cakes. And then in goes my herbs, and in goes my spring onions. So that all goes in. Once that's all in, mix it into a fairly loose forcemeat. Don't compress it too tightly. So you want a texture that looks, you want the beef mixture to be well mixed in, but you don't want it to be too well mixed in. I hope you understand what I mean there. And then what we do, we need now to separate that into however many cakes we're going to make. And the easiest way to do that is to make a log out of it and chop it up. I think we're going to get 4 out of this, look. So there we go, look. 4 nice beef cakes. And then what I'll do is I'll roll them into balls and even them out a bit. Make sure that they're nice and even. You only need to compress them, you don't need to squash them too much. They're all looking pretty good, aren't they? It's about the same size. And just like with the fish cakes, what you can do with these is you can either form them using a form, or you can just shape them like a burger patty. I will demonstrate the use of a form again, like I did on the fish cakes. I just drop that in there, and you can push it down with your fingers, or you can use the form lid to make them like that. Just make sure that's in picture, and then that should just lift off. Same with that one. It does make rather nice shapes, this does. And lift that off. Same again. Really easy. You can tell I'm a lazy cook, can't you? And kids love things like this. They absolutely love it. And it makes use of any meat you've got, really. You can use a roast and put it through the food processor and end up with lovely beef cakes like this. So into the egg, into the breadcrumbs, and into your pan. Into the egg. And you want to fry those on medium heat, because all the inside is more or less cooked. There's only the spring onion and the parsley, and of course the egg, which will cook as soon as you drop it in the pan. And I think I'll do them two at a time so as not to cool the oil down too much. There we go. In a bigger pan with a bit more heat, you could do 4 at a time, but I like doing them in small batches like this. And again, when you come to turn them, just flip them rather gently. That's probably slightly overdone, that one, but that one's more or less perfect. And then we just fry them now until they're cooked through. It's not going to take a long time. You're going to need about 2 minutes on each side. In with the next one. And in with the last one. The potato provides enough surface area for the egg to stick to, so you don't actually need to use flour when you're breading these. And I happen to like the way they turn out this way too. You don't need that extra layer of flour on them. Maybe when you put in meat or fish, yes, you probably need to dust it with flour to make the egg stick and everything, but because there is enough potato in the mix here, it really is sufficient to make the coating stick to it, as you can see on the finished beef cakes. Alright, let's turn them again. See what we got. Oh, very nice this time. Look at those, aren't they gorgeous? Alright, my lovely beef cakes are almost completely done. All that remains now is for me to plate them up and serve them. Enjoy. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to follow my channel, please subscribe and be sure to click the bell icon to receive notification of all my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.